Morning, Brian.
Good morning.
Brian, next time, wait to say hello until we go live.
Okay.
Also, one more small thing.
Yeah.
When the live stream ends and when the podcast ends, don't immediately start leaving, because half of your leaving is in the video.
Okay.
Just wait like a heartbeat or two, let it end, then leave.
Okay. All right.
I always see you just like, because it's with your phone, you just see
Yeah.
at the end of the video.
Yeah.
It
Anyway,
actually shows whether it's live up in the upper corner up there of the video.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it tells you when it's finally live.
Yeah. Okay.
And it tells you when it ends too. Wait till it says it's ending and ended.
Okay.
So you guys want to talk about anything before we get into meeting items?
I can't think of any. I
I'm
did
getting
find the
some feedback
code.
from you, Brian.
I'm sorry, what?
I'm getting some audio feedback from you, I think.
Well, I'm not using
I'm hearing
headphones.
it too.
I'm not using headphones right now. And yeah, I can't find anything. We just got to the campsite here last night.
Well, it's not too bad. It's all right.
Yeah, I couldn't find my headphones I usually use, so I'm just.
You know what I don't understand?
What?
Oh, never mind. I get it now. We have 3 dots showing up on. I don't know if you guys see it at the bottom. On each of our names, we have 3 dots, and I think that's telling you the audio level.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, I thought it was something else. I thought it was internet connection. Okay, sorry, Edward, to cut you off. Can you say that again?
No problem. I was going through the forum stuff this week. I've actually got to go in and remove that entire line of code that's hard-coded into the forums to remove that statistic. So I'm going to be downloading that today and working on getting that.
Was that difficult to do?
What's that?
Finding that line of code you had to change?
No, I actually found it up to be a source on the web browser, so I know where I got to look now on the main forum.
Are you getting like used to the software, or is it like becoming more annoying? Or
no,
difficult?
it's getting used to it. You know, they've changed things since I did it last, used it last, so I'm having to get used to the new layouts.
Cool.
But other than that, yeah, the coding in that is still the same. It's just reviving rusty knowledge.
And you removed the whole statistics module.
I'm going to be removing the whole statistics module. I was working on pulling it down yesterday to work on it. So I'll work on it today. Hopefully that'll be gone by this afternoon.
All right, you guys want to talk about anything else before we get into the meeting minutes?
No, not really.
Can we work a little bit more on making that intro video? Just think through it. Let me remind you guys what we talked about last time, what would be in it. What is this live stream about? Which means explaining what is chaos. But before, that's all we wrote. What do we need to say besides chaos itself?
Well, we definitely need to give a little breakdown of what we're about. I'm not saying it has to be a huge sentence or anything, but just a quick little, you know, hey, this is the database of public opinion. It's going to be owned by you and everybody else in the world. You know, help us bring about, you know, democracy for everybody, or however you want to word it.
I think the first kind of thing would be saying we're doing weekly meetings live for transparency and to attract new people. Is that sentence good enough? That's why we're doing the meeting? Or
well, at this point, but eventually the meetings are going to get to the point where we're not dealing with how we're building the system, but
sure,
how
we'll
it's
have a different intro
that,
later.
You know?
Yeah. Okay, this statement is still vague because meetings about what? we might as well say that sentence. We're building KAOS, a database of public opinion without systemic control of ideas. Is that a good first sentence without having to get into tons of details?
What's the definition of systemic? Systemic.
The system, KAOS, doing it.
Basically, the process
So
of how it
non-systemic
gets
means
ran.
users are doing it. So there's no systemic bias. There is bias, but it's not bias from the system.
Okay.
So
Any bias in
systemic-
that's going to be from the users.
Yeah, in a sense, users can control ideas.
Yeah.
You know, through like,
I
let's
mean,
say you
I'll-
get really popular and you do propaganda. That's controlling ideas, but it's not our system doing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's why
Yeah,
I
the,
like that.
the only control we've got is dealing with making sure everybody's safe on the system.
Which is why I
That's
say
the only
systemic
control
control of
we got.
ideas rather than just saying systemic control. Because we do have
Mhm.
systemic control of doxing and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And doxing is not an idea. Let's just be clear to everyone. You know,
Right.
if somebody doxes, they are not having a discussion. That is not a discussion about ideas.
I mean, as a general statement, yes, but it gets trickier than that. You know, I think.
Sure, but I don't
No.
think the getting trickier part should be explained in the first sentence.
No,
That's all
no.
my point is.
Yeah. No.
So
No,
first
not in the
sentence
first
of
sentence.
the intro video is we're building KAOS, a database of public opinion without systemic control of ideas. And I want to say it the shortest possible way without like being redundant.
Yeah. I guess that works. It works.
Maybe
as
the
well
word
as
worldwide should be shoved in here somewhere. About a worldwide database of public opinion
yes, actually, I think so. Yeah.
without systemic control of ideas.
Yeah.
And then the following sentence would be, we're doing these weekly meetings live for transparency and to attract new people. And then we go into like some details about what is KAOS. Like the purpose of it, the strategy, saying the rating system concept, and blah, blah, blah.
Well, yeah, I think it's kind of important to very early on state the reason why. Yeah, you know,
The purpose?
mostly the purpose being, you know, that
Improving
we
democracy.
don't have a good measurement of public opinion right now.
We don't have, okay. So staying, naming the state of the situation now. Okay. Let me let me put this on the screen. I'm now having trouble figuring out what to do with this next little part. Is that nice and visible?
Yeah.
Just me.
Yeah.
Okay. So first sentence, second sentence, and then we could say, so what is KAOS exactly? Or so why do we need KAOS?
Might want to change the what to why. Otherwise, you're going to get yourself kind of confused on that one.
Yeah. So why do we need KAOS? Is that a good next sentence?
Yeah.
So what would you say, Brian, to that answer or that question?
Because we don't have a good method of measuring public opinion.
Because we don't have a good measure, a good way, good what how did you say it?
Good measure to public opinion.
Because we currently don't have, isn't that the same thing? I don't want like adding extra words.
Yeah.
Is there a point of saying currently?
No, I don't think so.
Uh,
Well,
all existing systems are bad because what?
They don't
listen to everybody.
Yeah, not everybody's involved, and because we don't get an understanding of who these people are.
I wonder if maybe this second sentence, or how do I say this? I wonder if it's good enough just to say all the current systems suck without necessarily saying 50 reasons why they suck.
Yeah.
So maybe we just cut it off here. A sentence that just says the current systems suck, and then we start explaining our system. And doesn't that automatically imply why the other ones suck? Or
I
no?
would say. I think so.
I would say so.
Okay, so we're kind of implying why they suck by saying all of our features.
Yeah.
No extra sentence needed here.
Mhm.
It's implied by the features. So, the purpose of KAOS, and here's the thing, it kind of has multiple purposes. So maybe the primary purpose of KAOS is to improve democracy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was democracy even mentioned yet? Not yet. That's the first
No,
time
not
the word
yet.
democracy is mentioned. Which is kind of confusing now because all of these systems we're saying are junk. Were they trying to improve democracy?
No, not as their stated goal.
But we also recognize the concept of a poll is something needed in democracy. Isn't that kind of obvious to everyone?
It is.
What do you think, Brian?
I mean, we did. I mean, we have polling in our democracies right now, and it's helpful. But is it a main part of it? I don't know.
I don't necessarily say main. It is a requirement. There might be 1,000 requirements, and a poll is neat. The leaders need to know what we're thinking. That's how you say it.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's the thing that a democracy needs.
Yeah. Yeah. There's not. I mean, that's the base. The whole point here is because there isn't enough polling right now, and it's not done in an extensive enough, in a detailed enough manner to understand who is saying what.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they're figuring, everyone has these opinions based on 1,000 people. We've got 8 billion people in the world.
Yeah. And then on top of that, polling, it doesn't allow. It's just answering questions. There's no free flow of thought from the.
But to be clear, that kind of detail you just said, do you think it's worth putting it in this little 1-minute intro video?
Yeah.
Probably not, right?
Probably not in the 1-minute intro. No.
Yeah. Okay, I want to go back to that first sentence. We're building KAOS, a worldwide database of public opinion without systemic control of ideas. I think we should add a little to improve democracy and whatever else. What is the whatever else?
To improve democracy.
The main, I would think the other thing is to improve democracy, but also to improve each of our understanding of one another. Like, there's a better way to say that, I'm sure, but
that was what cognitive empathy is, but I'm guessing we don't want to use that term.
Probably not in the intro. Yeah, but a better understanding of one another.
All right. Without systemic control of ideas, to improve democracy and to
better understand one another.
Allow us to better understand.
There's got to be a better way to say that too.
So how about that? And to allow us to better understand one another.
All right, that I guess that's good.
And I put and instead of but.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is needed to improve democracy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we've said democracy in the first sentence. All right. Now we're over here. The primary purpose of KAOS is to improve democracy. I wonder if that's even worth saying again, because it's kind of implied right here.
Yeah.
So this sentence, we can get rid of it, maybe?
Or you could change it to ways of KAOS to improve democracy, and then have your listing that you've got down there.
Oh. Something like saying, here's all the features of KAOS that help improve democracy.
Yeah. Or here's a way we're trying to improve democracy through KAOS, and then have those sub points down there.
What do you think, Brian?
I guess so. I don't know.
So it's like saying, here's what I mean, this is badly worded for now, but here's what we're thinking KAOS will do.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of
that's pretty bad.
Or even provide.
And then listing them all.
I think that'd do better having, here's what we're thinking KAOS will provide instead of will do. I mean, that is our primary goal, is to do
allow
that.
us to do. And to be clear, all of these wordings we can change. I'm more focusing on the order
Main
of
concept.
the sentences. And then later we can fuck with the sentences.
Yeah.
What's wrong, Brian? What's that mean?
I don't know. I'm just kind of lost in this. You know, I don't. My mind cannot wrap its. I cannot wrap my mind around what we're doing here at all, really.
Well, do you know what's the purpose of this intro video?
You know, yeah, it's to introduce the idea, the concept, right?
To people who don't already know what it is and never seen one of our live streams.
Yeah. You know, I understand what the purpose of it is. I just can't, I don't know. I can't really think straight like this with all the input from everybody trying to put together words and sentences as if it's flowing from an individual or, you know, even from the group.
Well, if you want, you know, we already have a thing that, you know, we've worked on together, and then you could take this by yourself and fuck with it and come up with something, and then you're by yourself. I think I know what you're saying. You're having trouble dealing with two other people working on a document. You're saying you'd be more comfortable doing it by yourself. Is that what you're saying?
Or, you know, somebody doing it and then, you know, I don't know, proofreading it or what have you.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, for me, it's the opposite. I do better making this when I have two other brains I can ask about.
Yeah, I don't know. I have a hard time just keeping everything in my mind. You know, what's said earlier, what's coming next. You know, I did the flow.
Yeah, maybe you need a bigger screen to be working on it.
It's not like talking where there's a flow. You know, you know, it's just throwing words in there. And anyway,
It's a directed form of thinking.
Yeah.
Well, the flow will come with. Here's how I deal with flow. I read the whole thing out to myself and let myself listen to it, and I will hear if there's bad flow.
Yeah, but in the public forum here, like I just have a hard time just even reading it for myself and feeling like I'm comprehending anything.
Pretty sure you can have ChatGPT read this to you.
Yeah. But that would be a clunky thing to do in front of you guys.
Oh yeah. And again, I'm saying that's fine. Work on it by yourself or somebody else.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
We're just kind of laying out a skeleton.
Yeah. Well,
And then we need.
don't let me stop us. So let's just continue here, I guess. And I just have to go over it myself here, and I do exactly that. I get I have an app to read it to me, and I comprehend things better that way for sure.
I just changed this to here's what KAOS will allow us to do. And then we're going to say a little bit about each of these things.
Yeah.
Maybe this is not needed anymore. Well, I do think aside from saying right at the front without systemic control of ideas, if there's enough time, we would say how we would do that. This part, the strategy, no censorship. But it might be that first sentence might be enough, and there might not be enough time in these 60 seconds.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing is, I mean, you don't want to try to cover too much stuff in 60 seconds because then it'll get jumbled. You know, people won't understand the whole premise. Because they'll just be they'll be picking up on certain aspects. Like, come on, let's get to the live stream.
All right, so you want me to have ChatGPT read this to us? What do you guys think?
I don't think it's worth that.
Why not?
All right, sure. Go ahead. Let's see how it goes.
Partly just to see if you can do this with ChatGPT.
Okay.
Oh no, he's just writing it out again. I meant I meant audio. There's so many little confusions like this. Come on. It says it can't. You have to do it somewhere else. It won't generate an audio.
Yeah.
All right.
I have not worked I have an app that reads out the text for me, and I have not used really ChatGPT. I know it has the option of where you can speak to it and it speaks back to you, and I haven't played with that option, and I don't quite understand how it works. So.
There's a very good text-to-speech thing that I've been using. I want to try it now with you guys. Let me log in. I think you'll find this better than your other one you're using, Brian. But you tell me once you listen to this. Oops. Can you hear that?
No.
You're not hearing anything?
You hearing anything, Ed? No.
No, I'm not hearing a thing. I could hear something in the background, but it was
yeah,
so muted.
I think my
couldn't
audio
make
is
it out.
actually hiding it. So how do I have you guys listen to it? I don't know how to do that. I'm not sure what to do at this point. I'm hearing it. It does let you download a file, but then when I play it, it's going to have the same problem of hiding my audio. I don't know what to do.
It's doing
whatever. How about this? I'm just going to send this link to you, Brian, and you might find it better than the other one. If you want to try it, I'm not saying you got to.
Yeah.
Right. Text to speech service. called LUV Voice. Love Voice, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. Should we stop on this now and go to the next thing?
What is the
I
next
think
thing?
until Brian has a chance to go over it, I think that'd be a good idea.
Are you guys? Let's see. Are you guys seeing? Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
I see this. Yeah.
All right. So the last thing we talked about last time. There was the other big thing is the KAOS Constitution.
Yeah.
Brian, have you worked on this at all?
No, I have not. Sorry.
Okay.
You guys, I really am very guilty of not spending much time on this lately. I'll have some more time here pretty soon to spend some more time on this.
You've been mowing your lawn every day?
Yeah, well, yeah, the mowing my lawn and doing maintenance and just getting ready for this holiday was a huge ordeal. There was a lot of preparation work that I had to do, and I'm feeling myself worn pretty thin these days at the moment.
I really don't think we have an issue of like we need to hurry up or anything. We're three, basically we're three people now. I'm not really counting anyone else, by the way. Just us three. Edward's always here. I'm always here. Brian's always here. We can make a lot of progress, even if it's slow. As long as we keep meeting every week and make progress every week, we're fine.
Yeah. Progress will be slow for a bit here. I do want to start stepping up the campaign eventually here, but I'm just.
And by the way, I actually thought it was bad when we started having like 5 and 6 people and more people adding. I thought it was bad because we were growing too fast.
Yeah.
There is too fast. And that's why people left anyway. We were growing too fast.
I think that's part of it.
It wasn't a state for them to come here and think things are going well. We actually, the three of us need to make a lot of improvement before the next person gives a shit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's some truth to that for sure. But there's a certain amount of momentum that was going on with all these people joining, and that was kind of encouraging as well.
And we learned maybe some bad things that were happening, which we will try to not replicate in the future.
Yeah.
I mean,
you and Ernst did a podcast. There wasn't a plan of how we're going to publish it. We are thinking about how to do that, but we don't have a solution yet. And I don't think he likes that it wasn't published. What was the point of making it in the first place? Maybe don't do that again.
Well, it was on the subreddit, wasn't it? Didn't we post it on the subreddit?
I can't post it there. I have to post it on YouTube first.
And we never did.
No, I'm not. I didn't put it on my YouTube. And you guys. Okay, so you don't remember. There's a lot of steps that need to be taken. Like, if we're doing a podcast, doesn't that mean you have a podcast? Like a podcast, like a name of the podcast, a banner that goes with it. You can't just post a plain video, can you?
Well, sure. Why not?
You can post a plain video, but I mean, you still need to have name recognition.
If it's just a video without even saying what it is.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
We're not even saying it's a podcast. There's nothing in there. That's going to get 2 views. I don't see the point of that.
Well, the point was to put it on the subreddit, if you ask me. To post it on the sub. I mean, just the title itself gave you some idea what we were talking about.
And what would be the banner?
Well, the banner. When you're saying banner, you mean like the title.
The technical term is YouTube thumbnail.
Yeah.
And, you know what a thumbnail is?
Yeah. And who's at fault? I think was what I was suggesting we called it, and whether or not it's more the people holding back progress, or the people, or just the people in power.
Which means we would need a YouTube channel called "Who's at Fault." We haven't made that.
No, but I mean, isn't it? Can't you just make that the title or the banner or whatever you want to call it, without having to make a whole, you know?
You mean posting it on the KAOS YouTube
Yes.
channel under the name of some other podcast we're inventing?
It's not another whole genre of podcast. It's just another podcast with a title. It's just not part of the weekly regular podcast. That's all.
So it'd be like a support podcast or
Supplemental. Call it a supplemental podcast. Supplemental information.
Okay, so what's the last time we talked about this? It was Edward's gonna eventually work on, and Edward has too many things on him, so he wasn't working on this. But the idea was Edward was gonna make a YouTube thumbnail. The thumbnail is the thing you see on YouTube before you click on the video. It's the image that you see before you click on the video to watch it.
That'd be a static
It needs to have an image.
Yeah, but that image is usually just taken from the video. And every YouTube video just has an image taken from the video.
It's usually a lot more than that, and it has like some kind of framing, a title. We haven't done any of that. We have to make a thumbnail, like a template, and then every time we do a podcast, we take an image from the podcast and put it in the template, and that's the YouTube thumbnail for that episode.
Now I'll have to look deeper because the software might do that for us. I'll have to look deeper into what's it called? The layout for the website where they would be Canva at. Yeah.
To make YouTube thumbnails. Is that what you mean?
Yeah. I think the I think the forum or the Joomla software does that automatically. I'll have to look into it. I'll have to play with it.
Anyway, this is an example of something that that makes people think we don't know what we're doing, which is, you know, Brian thought this was already published.
Yeah.
At no point did we say it's published. So there's a big miscommunication there. And, you know, Ernst thought it was going to be published kind of right away. And he even said, well, it's better to publish it than to wait forever because it's not finished. But we waited forever.
Yeah.
Because we have other things we're working on that are higher priority.
Yeah. I'm still a little bit lost why we just don't put a title. I mean, I put stuff on YouTube and it asks for a title. I've given a title. It does ask for other information. Sometimes I just skip that process. And
so you're saying let's just go with a YouTube thumbnail that is just an image from the podcast?
That's what it does already without me changing anything. It just takes an image from the podcast and that's what you first see, and with the title, whatever title you put in there.
All right, so you want me to just publish it like that? I mean, that means doing almost no work.
Yeah, well, I don't want you to have to do any extra work. And
it would that before then.
I don't know. I thought I did. You know, I
show you where you didn't. Because it's in the meeting minutes.
Yeah.
Everything I'm saying is in the meeting minutes.
Yes, and you know, I don't know. That was my impression, is that we just give it a title and we post it. And I'm a little lost when you start talking about, you know, giving it. Is the thumbnail the same thing as the title? I don't know. I'm lost on all that. So
no, title is just text. The thumbnail is an image.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And when I post a video on YouTube myself, and I do it myself, I just give it a title and it pulls an image up from the video itself. And and I never quite understood exactly how it chooses the image, because it seems to be like picking. It's not the very first thing that you see on the video. It seems like
it's just like a random choice.
I don't know if it's just random or if it's picking something at 10 seconds in every time. I want to say
one more thing about how you did that podcast with Ernst. I don't think you guys you guys were not on the same page on what the point of the episode was. I think, Brian, you thought the point is who's at fault. And I watched that episode, and I noticed that Ernst did not know that's what you wanted to talk about. Because at one point when you asked him, so who's at fault? He goes, what are you talking about? Who's at fault for what?
Yeah. Well,
So here's the point. You were not on the same page on what the podcast was about.
Okay, but we did discuss it during the podcast, and we did kind of finalize that to some degree. And like
Maybe.
we talked, I mean, we talked about the fact that we both think that both things are taking place, and it's just that he puts more emphasis on the leaders, and I put more emphasis on everyday people. And
do you think Ernst would be able to say now what that podcast episode was about?
I thought we had kind of clarified that. Yeah.
Maybe I'm confused. But I remember the episode, and towards the end, you're like, so who's that fault? He goes, at fault for what?
Yeah. But that's where I'm saying we did discuss it, just like we are now, right here. And I kind of clarified that's what I thought we were talking
about. To be clear, I've had this problem. I've had someone on my podcast, and I felt during it that we had different ideas of what the purpose of this meeting was.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying we need to make sure that's, I mean, you can't avoid it 100%, but work towards making sure that's right for the episode to be any good.
Yeah. And we, to me, we did, but it took a while.
Okay.
You know, we before we kind of got to that, but to me, we did kind of clarify that in the video of what it was about and what our conclusion was, and which was that, you know, like I said, Ernst felt it was very much more people in charge that are holding us back, whereas I think it's everybody. You know, that's why no matter who's in charge, it always ends up the same way. It's they all have the same idea. And
well, it's a cycle, to be clear.
It's a cycle, yes.
Each one is causing the other.
Yeah.
The leaders are causing us to be a certain way, and then we are that way, and then we're causing the leaders to be that way.
Yes.
Cause and effect.
Yeah.
Cause and effect, where the effect is the cause and the cause is the effect. It's both ways.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody's
It's a two-way street to hell.
and on top of that, nobody's bothered by it. Even, you know, they want our leaders to be, to have these to be, to resist the spread of information freely and stuff like this. That's what they want. Everybody wants this to a degree.
By the way, I'm gonna, like you said, I'm gonna post this, and maybe we do 10 more like this in the same way, with no thumbnail and, you know, just kind of half-assing it. And then in the future, if you or we finally do make that podcast we talked about, what was it? Who are you calling stupid? Stupid.
Yeah.
Then we can reuse all those videos and then put thumbnails and then republish them on the other channel.
Yeah, we could, but I don't know. I don't really see what the point would be. I don't think I really don't think any of these videos we're doing so far are that entertaining. You know, I don't know why people would really want to watch them after the fact. You know,
really?
I don't see them getting a lot of traction. That's my thoughts on it.
We're kind of in a position where we're doing these so we're transparent, but, and this is my take on it, we're rehashing the same stuff every week.
Yeah.
We're not giving new content. We're not giving, you know, here's what's new going on. Give them a reason to interact and say, hey, you know what? I got an opinion on this. Let's go to their website and throw my opinion out.
Yeah. And we're not doing it focused on an audience. We're more focused on ourselves, understanding what we're trying to do. And
okay.
You know,
can I ask you, Brian? Sorry, go ahead. Finish up.
Well, I just wanted to say that if we were doing a podcast like, you know, the stupid podcast I was talking about there, it'd be much more focused on the people that we're hoping would view it. And so we want to be entertaining. We want to be, stay on topic
But it's so relevant. The thing you did is so relevant because it fits into why is everybody stupid? And Ernst is saying because of the leaders, and you're saying because of the people. It is addressing the issue.
Yes, for
very
sure
relevant.
it is. Yes, it is. And I just don't think that we were focused on entertaining the audience as much as we should. And I don't think it would be a bad video at all. I mean, it'd be better than because we were fairly focused on the topic that we were talking about.
What do you mean by entertaining the audience? What does that mean?
Give them a reason to come. Give them a reason to interact.
Philosophical ideas is a good reason. What extra entertainment are you talking about?
Well, trying to keep a flow to it, and keep people engaged.
Do you think the episode you didn't have a good flow? Is that what you mean?
Actually, not too bad. I mean, better than these meetings. These meetings we're doing right now, I find that there's not much of a flow. I don't see how anybody would find them very entertaining to watch.
It's not entertaining at all.
Yeah, not entertaining at all. I think Ernst and I did a better job that way. I think I think we were. There was more of a flow, and we were, more engaging.
What would create more flow? Do you mean something like having prepared questions previous to the episode?
Having some, maybe not that we're pulling out, but less. Right now where I'm going and thinking.
I think those are good because it makes people feel like, oh, this is real. It's not scripted.
Yeah. And to a degree, it's fine, but if it's too much of it, then it's boring, and we're not.
Do you think there was a lot of that in your episode?
What's that?
Do you think there was a lot of that in your episode with Ernst?
Not as. I think it's way worse here in these meetings. I think it's way worse.
These are not at all. Like, this is not. Like, don't compare to these meetings. These meetings are not that at all. It's so different.
Yeah. I suppose we could post it. I just hope that I don't know.
We don't have to decide now, obviously. All right, can we move on to the next little thing?
Sure. Yeah.
So we have the title for the episode. We need a description. You know the description? The YouTube description?
Yeah.
Little paragraph below the video. So we need a description also. And the description, I think, could say at the bottom of it, join our KAOS meeting.
Once again, we're talking about the video with Ernst and myself.
Yeah.
The description, I would say, was, the title is "Who's at Fault," and the description would be more about. We feel that humanity is being held back, and just a more wordy title, basically.
The title could go a little bit further. It could say the people or our leaders, rulers.
Yeah. And who's at fault for holding us back from advancing? And when I talk about advancing, I mean like a higher level of democracy. Excuse me. Moving. Sorry. Moving more towards direct democracy. Our democracy is stagnant. We're not. There's no advancement in it, whether or not it's a small level advancement or a larger level advancement. I always like to use the example of ranked choice voting. Nobody seems to be incorporating that. The idea has been around for 100 years, and we're not all doing it. So small advancements like that, or larger advancements like what we want to do with the KAOS system, there's no incentive to do these things. Very, very little. So, from either individuals or our leaders.
I mean, so really, if we're talking about the shortest possible thing, this is a podcast episode between Brian and Ernst. We discuss who's at fault for preventing us from moving toward direct democracy.
Yeah. I think that's yes.
And then it still needs a final statement, something like, we want to call to action for chaos. Now, did you ever mention the word chaos in that episode?
I don't think I did.
Okay.
No.
So what do you think
we really need to set up?
Here?
I think we need to really set up a podcast where one of us, preferably Brian, because this is, you know more on the whole process, and that's the only reason why I'm saying that.
Yeah.
But we need to find a way to get you on a podcast, or one of us on a podcast, where we can discuss chaos and what it's for. Really get it out there, market it, basically, on a popular.
By the way, Edward,
podcast.
me and Brian did
Yeah.
2 episodes that I think fit the description you're saying, but they were posted on my YouTube channel, and I think they can be reposted either on KAOS channel or on that, maybe the other one. I don't know.
I think it would be a good idea to have that available on the KAOS channel.
All right, so
Yeah.
And if you want to get me a link to it, I can see about once I'm going to be working on the YouTube stuff this week. Give me a link to it so I can throw it into the website, so it's available as a supplemental.
Finish publishing it, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do have another video that I did with this guy Christian, and I'm doing another one with him in about I don't know, 3 weeks, I think. And
Okay.
so anyway, I could.
Oh yeah, I remember talking to you about that. And didn't you say you asked him to send you the video so we can repost it?
I've got a link to it to the podcast he did.
Well, okay, but I don't want to do it unless he approves it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
it's
owns
still
the
a
video.
copyright
He owns the
issue.
video.
You know, it's
We need his permission.
Yeah.
Okay.
So please get his permission, and then with the link, I can download it myself.
Yeah. And so we can put it on our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And I can even, once I get the YouTube stuff set up on the website, which I'll be working on, I've been doing other things too. I get the YouTube, I can link to it on the YouTube information on our website too.
Yeah.
Which will, that'll allow people to sit there and say, hey, I know this guy. Let's see what they've got going on. And word of mouth starts taking effect.
Yeah. I'm surprised that we. I mean, I can post a link to it on Reddit, and I don't need his permission to do that.
That's correct. But we also
That's
want it
right.
on our YouTube.
Yeah.
But we got to
And
have
I'd rather
permission to
post it on
throw it
Reddit
to him on
our
the website.
YouTube, so when they click on it, it goes to our YouTube, not the other guy's YouTube.
Okay.
So Brian, you want me to send you an email reminding you to get permission on the thing with Christian?
I'm pretty sure I can remember. You could if you wanted to, though. A reminder wouldn't hurt.
I always like emails. If you guys want me to do shit, I want an email. But I'll go ahead and send an email.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, this is the past video. I'm going to be doing a new video with him pretty soon. So, like I said, well, it might be 3 weeks from now. But in any case, I'll ask him about us posting it on our YouTube.
Yeah. So, by the way, once we publish some of these, and then Brian, once you have another opportunity to do another one, you can tell them, "Hey, look at these older ones that I've done," to give them an idea of what it would be like. That's what I try to do with people, because a lot of people don't want to do it with you because they don't know what you're about. But if they can see an episode you already did and you were pleasant in it and it was useful, then
yeah, I have done that in the past with this video. I've shared the link many times with people, especially if we're talking about doing another.
You are doing that. Great. Now you could be doing it to our YouTube, so our YouTube starts
Yeah.
mattering.
Yeah. But yes, I do use it as an example of how a video might turn out, or an interview, or what have you.
All right. And about the call to action thing in the description, I'll come up with something, and then even if it's bad, we can easily change it in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What's left, guys?
I can't think of anything myself right now, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm having difficulties myself.
And I feel bad because you're on holiday, Brian.
No, that's not a big problem. That's not a big part of it. I'm fine to be doing stuff from here, as long as the internet works well enough. I just got a notice on my phone saying something about move closer to the Wi-Fi station, but I don't have a Wi-Fi station here, so I don't know. I don't know why it's assuming that I should. But anyway, I think it's working just as well as it does in my garage. I've come to the conclusion I have to get the Starlink system, I think, because I'm just getting terrible internet no matter where I am. And so anyway, I'm trying to convince the wife to do that because it's going to be more expensive than any of the other systems that are available. It looks like we're going to be paying more.
Oh, yeah.
For
That's the only reason why I haven't gone anywhere near it. It's so damn expensive.
yeah. I mean, there's an upfront cost of $500 or something, and then it looks like the rest of the service is pretty near the same price or more than anything else we would be getting. Any of the other methods that we can get internet, but I would hope that it would be much clearer and I can get more data faster. And
I got that same message you just got.
Yeah.
I saw a new icon showed up. It's not there now, and it looks like a Wi-Fi icon, and it says, "If you're on Wi-Fi, move closer."
Yeah.
And I'm not on Wi-Fi.
Yeah. I've never seen that before. Yeah. So anyway, I've never seen that before. That was the first time I've seen it.
There may be a glitch going on the internet somewhere.
Or I just have low connection. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't see why I would. I pay $100 a month for good internet. 1 gig service. And the upload is almost that. It's like half of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then if that's all, let's go ahead and end it here. I think we made some good progress. Fixed some really old shit.
Well, I always feel like we could have done more. But anyway, I need to be better prepared for these things. Have you guys just throwing it out there? One place that I just got a hold of on Reddit, they posted something about this. Anyway, it's called the World Constitution. Have you ever heard of
Reddit?
a world? Well, this person posted about it on Reddit.
I haven't heard the term, but to me, it sounds like a universal declaration of human values.
Kind of, yes. Yeah, I think that's how they describe it. I guess this concept has been around a long time. There was a bunch of people that signed on to this way back when. I think when nuclear proliferation was first an issue, and it was people like Einstein signed in on this, and other big name people in science signed on to this whole concept of a world constitution. And it looks to me like there's been kind of a resurgence to some degree. I think it's just a few people involved, but trying to push the agenda of a world constitution. And
yeah, I just pulled up the Wikipedia on it.
Yeah. And so they've been putting out videos on YouTube. I looked at a few of the videos, and anyway, like I said, somebody posted about it on Reddit, on a subreddit called Future Governance. And anyway, they're mostly looking for donations. I didn't donate anything, but I did sign up. for it. Anyway, I was hoping to get more back and forth communication with these people. I sent them a link to our subreddit and asked them to have a look at what we're doing. To me, they sound very similar to what we're doing. You know, they have some similar goals. I see no reason why we couldn't work together on what we want to do. I would thought that they would be, with the way they talk, it's, you know, I would have thought that they would like what we're doing. But I haven't heard anything back yet. This was about 4 days ago that I contacted them. And they, on the subreddit. And anyway, I haven't heard anything back. I thought I'd give them a couple of days because I know it's quite a concept of what we're trying to put out there, you know, for somebody to grasp what we're trying to do and try to get some kind of understanding of it. Anyway, I'm going to follow that up with a couple of messages asking, you know, can I get some feedback from you guys? But I thought they were an interesting organization, and they seem to be connected to a bunch of other organizations. They have quite a
can you post about that in our subreddit, please?
Sure. Okay. I was
put a
hoping to
little
get
bit of effort into it just to try to get people to look into it. I want to look into it. Or you don't have to put a bunch of effort. Even just the link is good enough.
Anyway, I just thought I'd mention it. It's to me they caught my attention as being, somebody that should be interested in what we're doing. And I'm a little disappointed. I haven't heard anything back from them yet at all. Anyway, I just thought I'd mention them. I'm hoping to push them a little bit more for some feedback. And to me, they should have, we have a lot of overlap. There's a ton of overlap there. And so anyway.
Jack says hello.
Yeah, I just responded to him in the comments section.
Any idea who Jack is?
Not yet.
No, and from what I can see, he's not here anymore because it shows 0 viewers.
Yeah.
Somebody just.
And that was just what, 5 minutes ago, 4 minutes ago.
I've got 3 minutes, but still, yeah.
Could be just one of these people that randomly catches the video.
Maybe he wants to sell us some marketing.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, that's what I'm thinking.
And he's being nicer instead of saying, "You guys don't know what you're doing. You need my marketing so you can get."
Yeah. I suspect it's just somebody like that, though. Yeah, you never know. All right, guys. Well, I guess we're going to talk in a couple of days there, Rami, with your friend. And I've got to do a little bit of research on that too. On what was it called? Something rules.
Robert's Rules of Order.
Robert's Rules of Order.
You can just wait till he explains it to us. One thing I'd like you to do, but it's not necessary, is to watch the one episode or one. Well,
your anniversary.
I already sent you an email with a link, but it was a podcast I did with Wissam, and then I also did an interview with Wissam on my June 14th. So there's 2 things you could watch if you wanted to get an idea of what he's about and his ideas.
Well, I saw your 1 year anniversary video that you did with him. I watched that whole segment.
That's good enough then.
Yeah.
That's good enough.
Yeah, and that introduced me. He seems like a very smart fellow, and he looks like, he sounds like the type of person that is be very interesting to talk to about this stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and even if he doesn't, join us, that episode will help us. I mean, for one thing, I'm learning about Robert's Rules of Order. That's very important.
Yeah.
From what I understand.
Yes.
We've been kind of just winging it with basic scientific principles. That's pretty good. I think we could do better with Robert's Rules of Order.
Yeah.
It's to be clear what it is.
Helpful.
It's a way to do meetings democratically.
Mm-hmm. Matter of fact, I just saw a news blurb the other day where Marjorie Taylor Greene got pulled on the Robert's Rules of Orders in a meeting, a House meeting for Dodge.
What do you mean she got pulled?
Someone quoted her as breaking the Robert's Rules of Order in a meeting, and everybody jumped her about it.
And how did she react?
It was in the committee meeting. I'm the boss here. I can do whatever I want.
So that's against the Robert's Rules of Order, I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So
interesting. It's it. her stance, anti-war stance, is kind of interesting too.
it is.
That she's been going against Trump and in the whole Iran thing. That's quite the turn of events. Tucker Carlson, her, and
Oh, a lot of people did.
and it's. I feel funny to be on the same side as her and
Hmm.
Tucker Carlson.
It does.
And yeah, it's a strange situation, but very interesting. And I think it's a good thing. I have to say it's a good thing that these people are against these interventions. And yeah, I see it as I'm just getting into current events here, but I see this as a big push for nuclear weapons. I think even here in Canada, we should probably rethinking whether or not we should have a bomb. Everybody's got to have one now, it seems. I hate to push that narrative, but that's what everybody is going to be thinking now. And Trump has just really doubled down on that and made it, more and more apparent that, we look at North. He won't do this to North Korea only because they don't, because they have a bomb. Right? He won't. He would never do.
I
what
think
they
it's
did
connected
to
to that China
Korea.
is their overseer, and the U.S. doesn't want to contradict China in that scenario.
Yes, but I know that that's a part of it. That's a big part of it. But I think the fact that they have a bomb is the main reason that Kim Jong-un can kind of be, be fairly confident that there's not going to be an invasion in his country. Right, or a mass bombing event or anything like this, and that's his guarantee, and it's been proven now. It seems to me, Iran, if they would have had a bomb, there's no way Trump would have done what he did, right? Or Israel.
Oh yeah.
And I don't like the Iranian regime at all. I don't want to sound like I'm standing up for him, but at the same time, it was. I can't say I totally understood why they were pretending to be enriching uranium all this time and using this as some kind of a bargaining chip. It seemed like a really stupid bargaining chip that they had, but that's all it really was, and they had no real intention of building a bomb. But,
well, most of the things you need to do to make a bomb, you also need to do to make nuclear power.
Yeah, a lot of it, yes, and that's what that they were using as their excuse. Yeah, for sure. And
if it's an excuse,
yeah,
we don't really know. Just like in the scenario with Iraq, weapons of mass destruction, there weren't any.
How long they were doing this, using this same bargaining chip for the last over a decade, almost 2 decades? How long does it take you to make uranium or to enrich uranium? If they wanted to do it, they would have been done a long time ago. It's just it's something they just wanted to use as a bargaining chip or something, right? It made
because
no
over
sense.
the last the last decade or so, it's always been a case of, oh, they're a month or a week away from getting the bomb, and it's like,
it's been like 30 years.
Yeah.
But still, 30 years for that same excuse.
I saw a video of Netanyahu saying it in 1995.
Yeah,
and that's getting flimsy now.
Yeah, and so you have to say that both sides were playing this thing as some kind of bargaining chip, and that there was no, how can this go on for 30 years, right? That they're a week away or a month away, right? Anyway, it's obviously fake news or fake information from both sides, right? And it's for them to get bombed over this is absolutely insane. But once again, if they actually had a nuclear bomb ready to go, there would be a lot less likely to have this happen. And it wasn't. Ukraine is another one. They gave up their nukes. A lot of countries decided not to pursue nuclear proliferation because America said that, we've got your back, don't worry about it, maybe just verbally, You know, Canada, that's the way we've looked at it. We've looked at it all along that we don't need a nuclear bomb because America's right there. And, you know, we just feel like they're going to support
And because
us.
you guys are friends. We
Yeah.
are friends.
Well, so, but that's come to an end now. It seems like we can't trust America anymore.
Why?
So,
Why?
you know,
You mean to defend Canada?
but to defend Canada or even to let us be sovereign. You know,
You mean because the U.S. is threatening taking over Canada?
well, not only that, but the worst part, the absolute worst part, is the economic shit that's going on here. They are, you guys, America is just fucking us because we don't know what to do. How can a company? How can about the tariffs and everything, right?
You're saying because of the tariffs we need nukes? I don't know what you're saying.
Well, yeah, well, because you know they're telling us we have to do our own part as far as keeping up,
defense spending and all that.
Yeah, defense spending. So, I mean, a nuke is there for defense, right? I mean, if we were to it's them demanding us to do this.
Such an expensive program.
Yeah. Well, actually, nukes are pretty cheap these days. I don't think it is as expensive as people think it is. You know, compared to the old days where there's a lot of research. It depends on how much. You know, if you can get the information, the data on the science that's already.
I don't know how shit is, but to me it seems very expensive just maintaining that shit.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I'm not saying that we should get a nuke or anything here in Canada, but I think we should. It should be a part of the conversation more than it's ever been before. You know, you know, whether or not I'm not saying we should, but I think it's a reasonable thing to have a conversation about at this point. And yeah, America is not our friend at the moment at all. You know, we can't. There's no companies that want to do any investment in Canada right now because of the
on some level we are still friends. No one's threatening. Well, I might be wrong about this, but there's no one country saying to the other, "We're going to take you over," right?
Well,
no, actually, Trump has been doing that.
Yeah, Trump has
been doing that. He's been pushing for Canada to be our 51st state.
Yeah, I mean, what does that mean?
Wouldn't that mean like Democratic?
He wants to annex Canada. He wants to annex Canada.
Yeah, he's annex.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the way
he wants to annex Canada.
That's the way Trump has put it.
He wants to do the same thing to Canada. He wants to do to Greenland.
Yeah.
He wants to take it over and say the hell with you.
Yeah. You know, he does think that Canadians should want this, but he's not demanding it, or he's not saying that we vote on this. But here in Alberta, right now, they're pushing for a referendum for us to vote on whether or not we should separate from the rest of Canada. And along with that is the notion that there's a good chance that if we separate, we join the U.S. So there is a push here. I don't think it's I don't think there's much hope or you know, much of a chance that they would win in this vote. But there's a political that we have a new political party, provincial party here in Alberta that's calling themselves the Republicans, named after American Republicans. They're totally associating themselves with the American Republicans, and they are running in elections and by-elections that we are having right now here in this province. They're not winning anything yet, but there are some people voting for them. And so anyway, that's a pretty telling thing when they're calling themselves Republicans, the Alberta Republican Party. So anyway, we find this a bit disturbing. There's a lot of people here that find this quite disturbing. You know,
which province are you in?
Alberta.
So would you like to join us or what?
Not me on a personal level, no. And in this whole tariff,
too much.
and in this whole tariff war thing, one of the biggest tools we have to apply pressure on America is to stop sending you oil. And but we won't do it. I mean, because we need the money too. You know, what if we would stop sending you oil, and then we're cutting our own throats. You know, so. But at the same time, it wouldn't be a bad gesture to at least be threatening this. But our premier won't threaten this right now because we suspect that she actually kind of supports the Republican Party, and that she would be all for joining the states. Our own premier of the person that runs this province. Anyway, yeah, she would like us to be American, I think. She actually made it easier to do a referendum. It takes so many signatures to get a referendum, and she dropped it by the half. Now it takes half as many people to start a referendum, and she's doing this specifically to make it easier for to vote on whether or not we want to separate from Canada to begin with, and then eventually vote to see whether or not we want to join the states. So anyway, this is a very Alberta thing. There's not much pushing for the rest of this country to be joined in the states, but there's more here in Alberta than anywhere else. We have there's a long-standing issue that we have with the East, and we don't get the representation that the East has, mostly because we don't have the population. But even as our population has increased, we have not kept up with the same amount of representation. We have less senators per capita for how many people we have here in Alberta than they do in the East, like Ontario.
I don't know how your Congress works. Does it have two branches like we do here?
Yeah, there's
one based on population, one based on not population.
Yeah, well, one's the Senate, and then there's the Senate, and then there's our representatives of in Parliament, right? So yeah, there's two layers like that, very similar. And yeah, the senators are appointed. So
appointed?
and we, yeah, I don't remember us voting. Yeah, we don't vote on senators. Somehow
what the
they're
fuck?
appointed. Yeah.
Dude, you got to join us.
Yeah.
That's not even guaranteed to work, though. But
all of our shit is so manipulated by propaganda. It's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
And money, legalized bribing.
Yeah. So the oil thing has been a big issue here in Alberta forever. We have we make more money here. We make a lot of money off of the oil industry, and we have to make transfer payments to the East. So the East has always, since the first Trudeau was in power, way back when, because the last Trudeau we had was the son of the first Trudeau that we had as a prime minister, back in the 60s, and Pierre Elliott Trudeau. And anyway, he started something called transfer payments, where we make more money here we make all this money on oil, and if that money stayed in this province, we'd be the richest province in the country. But we don't keep that money here. We have a transfer payment where it's taken to back east, and then it's used to supplement other provinces that are not doing so well. And so anyway, Alberta's always had a big problem with this, that the wealth is being sucked out of our province. And anyway, to me, it has to happen. Some provinces don't have the industries that we have, so they needed help. But certain provinces get a lot more than any of the others. Quebec is extremely famous for being far more socialist than the rest of Canada. And they get a lot more extras because of this, because they push for it. They've had, in their government, in their provincial government, if you get hired, you can never be fired. You have a job for life. And that's not anywhere else in this country except for in Quebec. So in
the U.S., we have the fucking Supreme Court judges for life.
Yeah. Well, here, no, I'm talking about everyday employees. You get an office job for the province, and you are guaranteed a job for life.
I don't think we have that.
And
they're
extremely socialized there. And they actually have a limbo land where if you get your job is eliminated for whatever reason, they send you to this one office where you go there and you just hang out there every day until they find you a new position. And you still collect.
Sounds like fucking Russia.
Yeah, I know. It's quite bizarre. It is
USSR,
actually quite
sorry.
bizarre. And the rest of the country here, it just rubs us all the wrong way. Like we're paying for this, you know, to some degree. They
Do you
get
guys
part
have
of the
stats published about how many people are in limbo land?
there's been articles about it.
You're talking like 100 or like 10,000?
It's a whole office building in Quebec. There's a like
How
a
big is the building?
it's like a high-rise building.
Jesus.
And yes, and so anyway, I haven't seen anything about this in a long time. There was a big a lot of talk about it like 10 years ago. I don't know exactly what's going on in that regard lately, but so I shouldn't really talk without having more information. But I know that at
Sounds
least
like you guys need a government efficiency department.
Yeah. Yes. Well,
But
you
don't
make it
pick
up.
Not
Elon
ran by
Musk.
Musk.
You don't need Elon Musk for that. You need some smarter people.
Oh yeah, he'd have a real heyday here in Quebec. One of the biggest pet peeves we have here about Quebec that the rest of Canada has about them, though, they will not allow a pipeline through their province. So, like I was saying, in Alberta here, almost a lot of we produce a huge amount of oil, right? And they have a bunch of refineries in Ontario and in Quebec and in Ontario and on the East Coast. And those refineries, you know, the population is much higher there, right? So anyway, they import oil, sometimes from Venezuela and countries like this. They import this oil into Canada in the East because they can't get the oil easily from Alberta, and because there's no pipeline. And they won't. They put in all kinds of restrictions on even bringing it in by rail or any of these other methods. Quebec has been really screwing the rest of Canada. There's no reason we can't supply all the oil we need in Canada from Canada. We're an oil-producing country, but yet we import oil for the eastern part of this country because it's not easy to transport the oil back and forth across our country, and because of these trade restrictions we have within our country, and mostly that Quebec will not allow a pipeline through their province. And this has been an ordeal that's been going on my entire life since I was a kid. That we've been talking about why won't Quebec allow us to run a pipeline through their province, and they will not allow it. And to this day, they still don't allow it. It's a huge contentious issue here in Alberta. And you know, and so we're looking for foreign markets. We're trying to we have a pipeline to the West Coast, and we ship our oil to China and to other countries, but the biggest market would be in the East, and we can't get it to the East. It just seems absolutely insane. It's crazy.
Anyway, you guys want to stop now?
Let's get I'm going way off on
Yeah. That's all right.
Yeah.
By the way, we got a viewer a few minutes ago while we were talking about this politics stuff, and then they left.
Mhm.
So I wonder if maybe
All right,
we should try to avoid talking politics.
Yeah. Probably.
Anyway, let's go ahead and stop now. I want to go start doing some shit. Get off my ass.
Okay. All right, guys.
All right, guys. See you next week.
See you next week.
Bye-bye.
Thanks a lot, guys. I'll wait
You bet.
until I get notice.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, hold on. Yeah, wait. 1, 2.